I mean, what we've got, I'm just going to say quickly, right, in this 7-day addiction plan, this is an instruction manual, okay? And as long as people follow this manual, you will be, see what it is, before you make a decision, okay, you need to educate the mind before we make a decision. If we start making split decisions, it's not powerful enough for the mind, so the mind will fight against it, okay? And if the mind's really, really powerful, the chances are we're not going to succeed. So what we have to do first is we prepare the mind for change. So reading this plan is a preparation before we make a decision. Once we make a decision, and technically that's the most hardest part of changing anything in our lives, once you make a decision, okay, then there has to be a withdrawal. And it's when we go through withdrawal that we have to start the self-talk. Because our job, once you've made a decision, when the mind and body go into a bit of a panic, our job consciously is to keep reassuring the mind whilst the body goes through the withdrawal. And that's what we call the self-talk techniques. Now, there's 3 ways that you can use self-talk. The first one is just speak to yourself. You know, you can speak out loud, you can, speak quietly, but as long as you're not shouting, and it's not shouting, it's not you're speaking outwardly, you're actually speaking to yourself. Now, before we came on, I was messing about with my laptop and I'm thinking, right, and I'm speaking to myself, thinking, right, what have I got to do tomorrow? We all talking to ourselves, so there's nothing strange about it.
We do this all the time, don't we?
We're always doing it. We've got a lot on our minds and we start talking to ourselves, but it's fine. But that is, as long as you know that you're talking to something, okay? So this is the first part. And remember, every time we open up a dialogue, my mind's I'm not going to say, hi mind, how you doing? It's going to go, yeah, I'm doing all right today, Chris. My mind's never going to speak to me, but what my mind does, it communicates with me. So it communicates to me through emotions and feelings and thoughts, okay? And that's how we open up the dialogue. So initially, when we're reassuring the mind, and also the conversation must always start with thank you. Because if the mind and the body are in panic, it means something's really, really wrong. Now, the way that the mind and the body try to get us to do things is create fear, create anxiety, if it can make you angry, it knows that you're going to react, you're going to do something, because none of us want to feel fear, do we? So that's how the mind tries to get us to do things. But if you open up the dialogue, firstly with thank you, then it throws the mind. It goes, oh, we're not arguing here, we're not doing, and so and then you can just say, look, I really appreciate you sending me these thoughts, but this isn't really what I want to do anymore. And just like that contract, this is what I want and this is why I want it, because whys are really important. It's like if you've got a child that's screaming for an ice cream and you just say no, the child's not going to learn. But if you just speak to it, firmly, but explain the reason why, Johnny, you can't have an ice cream, and we might be able to have one tomorrow. You can calm the child, and that's something very, very similar to what we're doing with the mind. The mind is very much like a child, but a very powerful child. The reason I say that, and I may be going off a little bit here, but we have to understand that just like this laptop, it's a very sophisticated laptop, but the laptop doesn't have any common sense. Me, the adult, me, the conscious person, I have the common sense to be able to program it. It's very similar to the mind. The mind is a very sophisticated machine, but it has no common sense. So we have to teach the mind common sense, and we do that through self-talk. So one way is to speak, but inwardly. The second way is to think. So we've all got the ability to think about a book, think about a bottle, think about a picture frame. We've got that ability. But when we think to ourselves, again, we're self-talking, because we're thinking to ourselves what we want to do. And the mind is always listening. So we can talk to ourselves, we can think to ourselves. I mean, I can be talking to you, and at the same time, I can be thinking to myself something different. Yes. And so that's our ability to, consciously, that's what we've got. And the other thing, just like I said to you when you write a contract, if you write stuff down, again, it's a very powerful method of retraining the mind, sending messages back and saying, look, this is what I want. Because the mind, as powerful as it is, my mind can't pick me up and rush me down to the local off license and make me buy, 12 cans of Stella or something, and my mind can't do that. You know, just like my mind can't grab my pen and start writing down, yes, I want cocaine, yes, I want. So we consciously have this ability to write, and writing is a conscious action, and again, it's a way of self-talking. So there's 3 different ways that you can use self-talk, and every single one of them is part of the rewiring, the rechanging of the mind. Because all that's happened in our lives, we've ticked a box that says something is pleasurable. You know, just like a computer system, once it's programmed, it's ticked a box, it just believes that it's always going to be pleasurable. But just like addictions and relationships and food, it can become harmful and it can become damaging. And it's at that moment when you consciously say, I want to change, but the mind, being, you know, this program, doesn't know how to change, and it keeps running the same program. So this is what we do. We teach people how to go back in, rewire, untick that box. Once you've unticked that box, the computer system is now running.